Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
Marvel Midnight Suns is kind of a weird game that exists. It's a tactics-based card game from the makers of XCOM.
Yeah, that's a bit
So it's
odd.
just
Yeah.
when you think about Marvel, you go straight to like the Avengers Crystal Dynamics game or Guardians of the Galaxy that came out a year or two ago. Like you think that, you don't think tactics with cards.
I would think tactics. I mean, is this kind of at least in the same conversation as one of those X-Men games back in the day? There's a bunch of like
No.
top
Yeah,
down sort
those
of
are like very much like
Marvel Alliance and stuff. That stuff, right?
yeah, no. Those are like
Oh,
action
okay.
RPGs. This is like you don't do anything without a card. You push your card and then the character does the thing. Um, so let's get into this. I was very hesitant about this because I'm not a big fan of card systems. So I kind of just pushed it off, which is why we're talking about it like 6 months after it came out.
Yeah.
Because I just finally was like, all right, I got to do it. I got to go for it. I got to try this. I really like it. It's cool.
Nice.
It's actually weird because I actually like the stuff I was nervous about and didn't like the stuff I was excited about.
Oh, what does that mean? Okay.
So
Interesting.
the gameplay is this game's strongest piece. The battles matches are just so much fun. They're great. They work well. The cards are awesome. We'll talk about it. I don't like the Marvel stuff, which feels bad to say. Like I literally just walked out of like Ant-Man yesterday and was like, oh, people are wrong. That's not that bad. And then I got to this and I'm like, I don't like this Marvel stuff all the time.
You're Mr. Marvel too. I mean, because you're not just like movie Marvel guy. Like you read the comics and you're pretty deep into Marvel
at times,
stuff.
yes, at times. Don't quiz me. But
Sure.
well, let's start with the gameplay because I think that is the interesting piece of this and the crux of it, of what a lot of people's issues is. So basically, the way the game works is every battle you have 3 heroes, and there's 12, 13 of them total that you can kind of play with. That seems 12 is probably the right number. That you can play with. Each one plays a little different. Each one has their own deck of about 10 cards that get shuffled all together, and then you pull cards, and those are what you use. Now, if you've played XCOM, it works basically just like that. But these cards are kind of thrown in to change things up. So when your turn starts, you get 3 card plays, and then you get 1 move, and you can redraw 2 cards. Is basically your thing. So if you've like got your hand of cards, there's 2 you don't like, you can redraw those and swap in new ones.
Gotcha.
Just if you're like, okay, like I'm utterly screwed with this hand, like okay, I get 2 swaps.
Are you getting 3 cards per character, or is it just 3 cards?
It's just
a mix of all.
Each character gets 10, and then I think each turn you start with like 6 or 7, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Cards, and they're a variety because it's just you have your deck of all your characters' cards, and then whatever's on top comes out.
Oh, okay. So you could get like 2 Spider-Man cards, 1 Hulk card, or 1 Blade card, or whoever. I don't know who's in this game. I have no idea. It's making shit up. I have no idea who's in this game. So, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you could end up with a hand where I have Spider-Man, Blade, and Iron Man, and they're all Blade cards.
Oh, okay.
That
sure.
hand,
Yeah.
which doesn't affect you because I mean, if you want to just play and just use your Blade cards because he's your strongest at the moment, you can go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter who you do it, but you only get 3 card plays as a team and 1 move. So,
oh, gotcha. Okay.
it's weird to explain, and it's one of those things that again, I think it looks super intimidating.
Yeah.
But honestly, probably after an hour, you're just like, you get the flow going really easily and you kind of get what's there. And then after maybe 5 to 10 hours, you get to the point where you're like, okay, I really have like how my deck's constructed, where it's like, okay, I can redraw these. Cards cost heroism, which you get by playing lower level cards.
Okay.
So like, for example, if you're playing Captain America, you have a quick punch. If you KO somebody with this low level card, you get a bonus card play. So then you can play 4 cards that turn because that one cycles back in. So you get to the point where you can kind of like combo and you can use, okay, I use 7 cards this hand because I was able to get these.
I'm sorry, keep on.
Because I'm able to get these additives that are kind of in there and these special properties of cards. But then those lower level cards build heroism. So like your ultimate attacks, your super powerful ones, those might cost 3 or 4 heroism. So you have to build this over time. There's so much that sounds so complicated. And I kind of hate myself just even describing it right now.
I'll just have to watch the B-roll. Is my like, I'll be watching the video version of this.
Just close your ears and just watch and pretend like I'm saying things that make sense.
Yeah.
But it seems so intimidating, but it is so smooth, feels so good. And I think there was maybe one, I think I played about 35 hours. I don't even remember how long it took me. A long time. Yeah. There's only one battle I can think of where I think I got screwed because I just got bad cards.
Yeah.
In that entire 35 hours. So you never really get that just because there is so much flexibility in how you play. And once you learn the systems and once you learn how it's going, it works really well. But anyway, so you still feel very in control. And as you're going through again, you learn all these things. And each hero plays different. So everybody's deck is tailored to different things. So like Doctor Strange, his deck is very focused on knockbacks. So knocking characters into each other, causing damage to multiple ones. You can, in some arenas, knock them out of the arena. Ghost Rider has some really cool things where he does like super high damage, but takes a hit because like he's on fire.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, oh yeah, Ghost Rider will take 80 damage, but will do 300 damage.
Sure.
So you kind of have to balance that out. So every character plays different, which again feels really good. The game does kind of force you into certain characters. So there's story missions and then what they just generically call general missions. And normally you have to do general mission, story mission, general mission. And those ones you get a choice, but those will be led by one hero. So it kind of forces your hand into some, which the one that I'm thinking of where I got really screwed, two of the characters are kind of spoilers for characters you get late game, so I won't mention names, but they were characters I just never bothered doing anything with.
Oh, sure.
So it wasn't necessarily that even the cards screwed me. It was more that the game was like, no, guess what? This is a mission with blank and blank together, and I just went, well, shit.
So I guess I got a question though, because if it's all card based, what's the point of the battlefield? Does that do you have the question? Because the images I see from this, it does look like an XCOM game where you have like characters on a battlefield doing things.
Yep.
But if it's all card based, does any of their placement matter?
It's all placement. Okay. So again, like if you're playing Doctor Strange, everything is knockback. So you'll hit one character and then that will give you a cone and you can knock him into this general direction of what's going to happen. Or so then, I can knock him into that. There's objects on the ground that you can spend your heroism to use environmental attacks. So if the character's next to a rock, you can roll over with whoever, pick up the rock and whip it at them. There's different things like that. So there's different things that you can interact with on the battlefield that are going on. So it's not like, I guess Slay the Spire is the other card game that always comes to mind, where it's just like, here's my monsters. I throw card at monster, monster throws card at me. There is a lot more in terms of positioning, because again, you can get knockback. Okay, so I need to keep my characters spread out. Certain characters have area of effects. All these different things are playing into there. So there, again, it's one of those things where it looks insane.
Sounds crazy. It sounds insane.
I guarantee, like, if you have any history of like tacticsy stuff, give it 2 hours, you'll be rolling with it.
Yeah,
you'll be rolling with it. It's great.
Do you like that system, or would you just be like, I just wish this was like simpler or whatever else, or is it just like, because there's like unique and good, or there's just like unique for the sake of being unique? Like, does it actually feel fun to play?
It is fun. It is fun. And I kind of thought about that. One of the things that I do like, and this is kind of, again, a takeaway from XCOM, is XCOM I always get pissed off because everything's percentile based, where it's like this attack has a 20, everything hits. Everything hits all the time. Every enemy attack hits, every one of your attack hits all the time. So in XCOM, I always get pissed because like this has a 75% chance of hitting, and then like 3 times in a row it will do shit.
Yeah.
This, it's like, okay, this isn't going to do high damage, but I know I'm getting that chunk. No questions asked. And I get a little bit more randomization of what I can possibly do, but I know that those things are going to work.
Oh, sure.
Whereas XCOM, it's like, I feel like I'm making a plan, and then it's like, well, the random dice fucked me on this not happening, versus, okay, like, I have cards that I wouldn't necessarily want right now, but I can make them work, and they will work.
They will do the thing I need them to do. That's interesting.
So you, because I guess that was kind of my thing, where it's like, you get this randomization element in every tactics game in some way or another. This one just happens to be randomized on what can I do this turn versus will what I do worked. And I honestly, about maybe halfway through, once I really got the card system down, much prefer that, because I feel like I'm actually able to make a strategy a lot better, because I'm not like, okay, when I knock this guy, when I kill this guy so he won't damage them, then I can go get this guy. It's like, well, nope, I'm screwed because I didn't get that guy because my 98% didn't turn out this time. So it's fun. I like it. It's weird. I do think that's probably the holdup for me and for a lot of people, but I genuinely believe that if you give this a shot, you will enjoy it if you're into tactics stuff.
What about the other half of the game, Brad?
So the hidden part is this is secretly Marvel Persona.
Sure.
This
Yeah.
is so much go make friends bullshit.
Yeah.
I was checked out probably 10 hours in. Like I love my Marvel stuff. It is very MCU in the way that characters interact. It is very MCU in like the casting of characters and the roles that they play. Even like the relationships are there, are very much like if you've seen 4 MCU movies, you know the character already.
Mm-hmm.
It's that character, just a different look to him. There is a lot of like go talk to people. Like there's 4 or 5 clubs that you can join around the Abbey where the superheroes have like off time. So like you'll go to book club with Blade and Captain America, and then you'll go to shop class with Spider-Man and Robbie Reyes, who's Ghost Rider in this. So it's a younger Ghost Rider, but you'll go like work on the car, and that gets you friendship levels. And as your friendship level increases, your characters get stronger. And
Whew.
in order to increase it, you can go do hangouts. So like random times as you finish missions, they'll be like, oh, go join a hangout, and you can go walk in the room and pick a hero, and you can sit down and play video games with Tony Stark, and then go for a walk with Doctor Strange. And it's just like it's so much, and it's every mission there's a chunk of this afterwards. And this is in addition to the very long, very exposition heavy general story cutscenes.
So, I mean, are you... Okay, so like when you're hanging with people, is it like you get to do cool superhero hang stuff, or is it just
No,
like these characters could be anybody?
they could be anybody. It's literally like, let's watch a movie, and then the two sit on the couch and talk about the movie you're watching. Let's go hang out by the pool, and you and character go sit next to the pool and have a conversation together.
They don't do any like cool pool water power tricks. Oh man.
I mean, there's a couple, because this is very like different realms and that kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, like we went and hung out in Limbo. Oh yeah, we went and saw the giant portal. And the time you spend in the Abbey gets like so grating, like by the time, because like it's a long game. So by the time you're like halfway through, you're just like, I don't need to go to book club again, but I need to go to book club, because when I do, I'll unlock a new card, and I can get that card, and that card's gonna be good. So I gotta go sit through book club with Blade and Captain America again.
That's really funny, because like I know like, because I mean, again, I like Persona games, and even like I like those characters, but the second is you start thinking like, I will hang out with this character not because the interaction is fun, but to get the reward. It's like it's over at that point. And I know that happened to me with like certain characters in Persona, where it's just like, oh, it's time to X clicking through whatever their dialogue is. Yeah.
And I'm gonna be perfectly honest, probably the last 25% of the game, that's what I did. It's like, okay, this is not tied to a story mission, just boom, 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 boom. All right, that meeting's done. Okay, I gotta go hang out with them. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, cool, they got a new outfit. And no new cards. Okay, oh, there's a new card. All right, next mission.
That sucks. Oh man.
So
you're Mr. Story Man, so it's like, it's kind of weird that you'd be the one doing that as well.
It just none of it was relevant. And I think it's, again, having so much exposure to these characters right now between MCU stuff, other Marvel games, it's like now is not the time where I need to really sit down and have a conversation with these characters, because I've listened to Captain America talk for like 20 hours of movies. He was in the Avengers game that I played 3 years ago. He made, so it's like, oh, and I read a couple comics. So it's like, I've heard Captain America have a conversation about, man, it's weird being back from the 40s more times than I can count.
Sure.
And especially initially, it is a lot of that, like, we need to get you introduced to this.
Superhero to these characters. With these characters, yeah.
Which actually does start interesting, because they start you with the Midnight Suns, who are like Nico from Runaways, Blade, Robbie Reyes, who's not your normal Ghost Rider. Yeah. So it starts you with some very interesting people, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like I could see where like if you didn't have some of the background knowledge, this is interesting, and they're characters that I'm not overly familiar with, but okay, this is cool. But then it's like, oh, I need to hear Tony Stark's backstory.
Oh, weird.
I get it. You have money. Oh, yes, you are not a fan of the spiritual stuff and just wonder why science doesn't work all the time. Okay.
It's weird. Do they kind of treat like those characters that like are pretty popular with that same level of like background stuff, or is it like a shortened version, or is it like,
Some of it is optional, so there's optional
Okay.
dialogue that you can pick to go into it more. They definitely all get that little bit of an introduction here and there.
Yeah.
But there's always like okay, here's 4 more options if you want to know how did you become Iron Man, who did you like fighting the most, Iron Man, like
Oh,
those type
sure.
of questions.
Yeah.
So it's grating. There's so much Marvel out there that it's just I don't need it right now. But it's one of those things where I love this game for the gameplay, and I very much
Yeah.
don't care about this game for the rest of it. And it's the same thing I get with Persona, where it's like if you made a 30-hour Persona,
Sure.
whoo, that art style, that gameplay, that combat, that upgrade
Yeah.
path, I am in. Oh, I've got to do 70 hours of walking around this town talking to people? No, thank you. And that's exactly the same feeling I have with this game.
Sure.
The fact that it was Marvel and you kind of got some cool rewards and you got like new
Yeah.
characters jumping in the whole time, it's like, okay, that gets me. And the main story itself is fairly interesting and fairly unique. The character you play as is an original character who actually fits in really well. The villains are villains that are not used anywhere else. Outside of like the minor ones, Venom shows up, Crossbone shows up. They're like the very minor like lackey villains. They're
Sure.
like there, but like the big bads are not normal big bads. So I honestly like it's one of those games where it's like I just don't even know how I feel about it. I love so much one aspect of it, and I
Sure.
despise one other aspect of it so much. It's just it's weird.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm surprised that's the ultimate conclusion. Also, at some point, are you gonna say you like card games because you like Marvel Snap, you like this one, you like Slay the Spire? It's possible you might like card games.
I can't think of any other card games, so I was trying to come up with a counterpoint there of like, yeah, but, and I can't think of any other card games. So I think like the 3 card games I've put the most time into, I absolutely love. So there it is. Look forward for more conversations around card games, since that is apparently my new niche.
Funny.
But we are Workforce Gaming. We try to have new videos up every Monday. Please leave a comment or subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you later.
Bye.